What's up, guys? Today we're going to work on the Brettzel. Brettzel is kind of complicated, a lot of stuff going on in it, so take it step by step. I'm going to show you how to get into it. We're going to use two ways to get into it. First one will be kind of working on that thoracic rotation slowly. So if that's where you're a little tighter, show that. Second one will be opening up the hip, front side of the thigh, if that's where you're a little tighter. And if you're tight in both, take both of these kind of routes to get into the Brettzel and use them as you need to. So first one we'll work on up top here with the thoracic rotation, because that is a big part of the Brettzel. So the easy way to work on it and ease your way into the Brettzel will be to do a rib pull first. Okay? So I got two little props here. This one you definitely need, and this is just a bolster for your knee. Pillow for the head, you may or may not need. Don't avoid using it if you need it, so it'll take stress off your neck, okay? So, rib pull is fairly simple. I'm on my side. This knee comes above my hip. Not above it this way, above it that way. And it stays on here, so it's kind of in line with my hip, as far as vertically, right? This hand's just gonna trap it here. Now, I like using a roller, because it'll roll. Hey, what do you know? As long as I don't peel away here, and my hips don't come off of being stacked, okay? So you got that pin there. I'm gonna rest my head here. I'm gonna take this hand, kind of dive underneath, grab a hold of something, some ribs, and then I'm going to look over my shoulder and let gravity take this top shoulder down behind me. You're gonna stop somewhere, and that's where you breathe. Right? We're breathing through the belly. This hand or arm is across your torso, so you can feel the belly breathing happening. So you inhale. When you exhale, you go down a little further. So I'm easing my way into it. I'm letting gravity help me out. I'm letting gravity actually do most of the work. I'm not forcing myself down there, yanking. It's called a rib pull, but it's just kind of guiding there, right? Coaxing the ribs to turn. So you can do about 10, 20 breaths with that, get that rotation kind of happening. And then from there, we could go right into, let my knee come up. The Brettzel, right? So everyone should know the Brettzel. I have like a 90-90 position with my legs here. Pin this knee, grab this foot, rotate back over my shoulder. So you can see where that rib pull, that thoracic rotation, frees you up to then go into the Brettzel. And you're not clinging and fighting the whole way. So the rib pull starts gently, whereas the Brettzel, you kind of want to be able to rotate back there a decent amount before you jump into the Brettzel. So if when doing the rib pull, you find you're kind of stuck, work this rib pull. Breathe until you're almost horizontal here with your chest. Once you've achieved that, you know you're ready from at least a thoracic rotation standpoint to go into the Brettzel. So that's the first way to get into the Brettzel that I like. Freeing this up, and then get into it. Second way, because you see me grabbing this foot, it's challenging kind of the flexibility and mobility here on the front side of this bottom leg, is to work on that a little bit. I prefer the kind of gentler approach of a little hip flexor stretch first. We have another video for that. We also have a video for a twisted hip flexor, which will actually be a great one before the Brettzel, so both of those are in the description down there. You want to reference those. But a simple pelvis tucked, breathing into it, hip flexor stretch first. Just kind of loosen this up. I can get rid of my foam roller for a second, but then that allows me to kind of work on this leg. Now, this one, Jason Marshall showed, and I like it. But again, I like it with the hip flexor stretch first, kind of prime it up. You get down here, kind of in the Brettzel position. With my breath, every exhale,
I lift this leg up. Now it's crucial that this knee is up here again because it stops your whole pelvis from anteriorly tilting and your low back from getting worked on this. We want to keep it isolated to this hip kind of. So you go through 10, 15, 20 of those. That frees you up. Now bring in my two props again. I grab here and rotate back into the Brettzel. Now once you're there, you're working on getting these knees away from each other. And that's why we worked on loosening up this bottom leg so that when I'm rotated back, I can pull the knees apart. And it's, again, not going to crank into my low back. So I'm in the Brettzel. And again, that's why I like using the foam roller here, because I can push this knee forward as I'm pulling on this knee, and it'll roll over the foam roller, right? So, that's two ways to kind of loosen you up, prime you up to get into the Brettzel. Try one out, try the other out, find where you're the tightest, work on it first. If you're tight everywhere, work on both. You can work on each one separate and not do the Brettzel if it's too demanding. And then eventually, as your mobility increases, you can hop into the Brettzel. So, that's two ways to get into the Brettzel. Try them out.